Star Trek is no stranger to weapons of mass destruction. However, the original series introduced a planet killer that has since become an iconic part of the Star Trek universe. This is the Doomsday Machine, an automated robot that was capable of destroying entire planets. But where did this come from? Well, the mystery of the Doomsday Machine is interesting, as its apparent trajectory suggests it may have come from another galaxy, so not the Milky Way. In today's Star Trek Explained video, we take a look at Star Trek's Doomsday Machine. Welcome to Trek Central, I'm your host Captain Jack. Before we warp into this video, if you want to keep up to date on the latest Star Trek news, lore and more, make sure to hit that subscribe button to never miss a video from the team here at Trek Central. You can also follow us on social media for daily updates on the Star Trek universe. As always, please let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, because if you're talking about Star Trek, then we want to hear about it. Okay, engage. A big thank you to FlexiSpot for sponsoring this video. Don't forget, you can click the link in the video description to learn more about FlexiSpot's Black Friday sales. If you're like me, you probably spend a lot of your time at your desk, either playing games, writing your next sci-fi adventure, or just having fun. However, we all know that takes a toll sometimes. FlexiSpot reached out to me and provided one of their new E7 Pro desks. This is a standing desk that gives you the ultimate stability and more space with its new semi-sea leg structure. Powered by individual drive motors in each leg, this desk has a heavy-duty capacity of up to 160 kilograms. Perfect for all my monitors, keyboards, laptops, and anything else I want to put on the desk. Features include a 3-in-1 integrated keypad with a 4-way memory controller, along with a built-in charger and even a magnetically concealed cable management tray to hide all those annoying cables. Let's be honest, we all have them. But there's more. FlexiSpot also saw my need for having an ergonomic chair for my new desk. This is the BS14 chair, and it's perfect for myself, especially I spend a lot of time sat at my desk playing games. Features of this chair include easy adjustment, as well as the BS14 chair being able to provide optimal support with adjustable seat depth. Personally, I've had a great experience with the BS14 FlexiSpot chair. Not only has it eased my back pain and gave me a bit of relief, it's also improved my posture and it's more correct now when sitting at the desk. And also, this kind of improves work efficiency. With FlexiSpot's Black Friday sales, you can save money on the E7 Pro desk and the BS14 chair. Black Friday is almost here. Time's ticking, once the clock runs out, so do the discounts. Act fast, the sooner you buy, the more you save. Be one of the first 30 orders at midnight on the FlexiSpot website for a chance to get your order for free. Head over to the FlexiSpot website to learn more. See the information on screen and click the link in the video description to learn more and start your FlexiSpot journey today. Okay, what are you waiting for? Make it so. Before we expand upon the mystery of the Doomsday Machine, let's go back to where it mainly began in terms of Starfleet and the Federation encountering the planet killer. Stardate 4202.1 started out as another routine day for the USS Constellation, which was a Constitution-class starship. Under the command of Commodore Matt Decker, the ship encountered a massive destruction in the system known as L370. All 7 planets had been totally destroyed. The Constellation proceeded to System L374 on Stardate 4202.3, where it found 3 intact planets and 1 in the process of breaking up. Upon moving closer to the 4th planet to investigate, the Constellation discovered the planet killer, which is the Doomsday Machine. This giant automated craft was firing a pure anti-proton beam at the planet and then consuming the planet's rubble as fuel. It seems by approaching the ship, the Constellation provoked it. The Federation starship was immediately attacked and caught by surprise. The Constellation's deflector shields were quickly overwhelmed and failed. While attempting to move, the ship noted that the machine proved completely invulnerable to any form of counterattack. This was due to the planet killer's hull being composed of pure neutronium. The attack on the Constellation crippled the ship. Major hull damage was sustained, with the main bridge being destroyed, the warp drive being destroyed, and the phaser banks being completely depleted. The ship's impulse engines were severely damaged. To make matters worse, the Doomsday Machine projected a dampening field which cut off communications with Starfleet Command. Unfortunately, this field also deactivated the Constellation's antimatter fuel and left the ship with only emergency power. In an act of desperation, Commodore Decker ordered the crew to evacuate to the 3rd planet in the system, while he remained on board as the last man. Well, the captain does go down with the ship after all. This turned out to be a bad decision for the crew. Now finished with the 4th planet, the planet killer turned towards the 3rd planet. While Decker desperately tried to beam back his crew, the machine attacked again and damaged the transporter systems. Decker was forced to watch as the 3rd planet was consumed and his entire crew were lost. The USS Enterprise, under the command of Captain James C. Kirk, picked up a faint distress call from a Constellation and entered the LV-374 star system. Enterprise found the drifting ship, with Commodore Decker being the only survivor. Mr. Spock investigated the ship's sensor records and managed to get a fix on the point of origin. While no direct location was given, it revealed that the Doomsday Machine was from outside the Milky Way galaxy. We'll return to this point later on. Captain Kirk theorized that the planet killer was built by some species eons ago as a Doomsday Machine in some forgotten conflict. He dubbed it as a Doomsday Machine because if it was ever activated, it would likely have devastating consequences for both sides of a war. While the species who made the weapon likely did not exist anymore, their automated weapon continued the violence. Captain Kirk and Commodore Decker decided they need to stop the planet killer before it does any more damage. USS Enterprise was holding alongside the Constellation when the Doomsday Machine suddenly attacked. While Enterprise was more maneuverable, the weapon was super fast and gained on its target. The Enterprise took heavy damage in the first volley, so much so that her shields almost exhausted along with communications and transporters being damaged. Now Kirk was trapped with the boarding party on board the Constellation. Spock was in command of the Enterprise and ordered evasive action, until Commodore Decker took command under Starfleet General Order 104. He countermanded Spock's orders to avoid the machine and seek a space to warn Starfleet Command. Decker sought retribution for his ship and crew, so much so that he ordered an immediate attack on the weapon. This did not get anywhere, as the Enterprise was quickly overwhelmed by the weapon, just like the Constellation. The Enterprise was soon locked into a tractor beam and was slowly pulled towards the maw of the planet killer. Meanwhile, the Constellation's impulse engines were brought back online, partially, by Chief Engineer Montgomery Scott. He also managed to restore a single phaser bank. Kirk took command of a damaged Constellation and managed to launch a diversionary attack on the planet killer that allowed both ships to escape. The planet killer apparently had a relatively simple and straightforward defensive computer program that only allowed it to engage single targets within a specific range. The immediate danger passed. Captain Kirk ordered Decker relieved of command of the Enterprise. While the Enterprise and Constellation withdrew, the planet killer resumed harvesting planetary debris to take on additional fuel. Decker, having been relieved of command, stole the shuttlecraft Einstein from the Enterprise and piloted it on a suicide course into the weapon's maw, which did little effect as the shuttle was destroyed. In reality, the Enterprise detected a power drop in the output of a Doomsday Machine. This revealed that Decker's attempt had caused some minor damage to the weapon from the inside. Captain Kirk came with a radical plan. Detonating the Constellation's main impulse engines inside the planet killer, it would create a more enormous explosion than the shuttle and hopefully damage the planet killer, if not destroy it. While the Enterprise held a position, Kirk piloted the Constellation and detonated the ship's engines directly inside the weapon's maw. This caused the explosion to bypass the neutronium hull and drop the Doomsday Machine's power output to zero, which essentially fully disabled the machine. While Kirk noted in his log that Commodore Decker gave his life in the line of duty, the wreck of the planet killer was left intact, floating lifelessly in space. While Kirk's plan was a success and the Doomsday Machine was disabled, the neutronium hull was still impenetrable. Whatever happened to the Doomsday Machine is unknown. Okay, now that we've caught up on the events of the Doomsday Machine, let's look at where else the planet killer has popped up in Star Trek. Our first answer to the mystery of the Doomsday Machine comes from Peter David's novel, Vendetta. This novel featured another planet killer, which was believed to have originated as a weapon of an ancient race. It's not made super clear in the book, but it's believed by some that the ancient race could be the Preservers, and they use this weapon as a last resort against the Borg. According to the story in Vendetta, the planet killer encountered by Kirk's Enterprise was only an automated prototype. It was set on a course that would eventually carry it into Borg space, had the Enterprise not stopped it. The design was for it to destroy planets that were already assimilated by the Borg for use as fuel. This, combined with the indestructible neutronium hull and the anti-proton beam, of which there was no defense against, made it an ideal weapon against the Borg collective. In the Vendetta book, the planet killer featured a much larger and more menacing appearance, similar to what his original creator envisioned. More on that in our behind the scenes section. During the novel's climax, 3 Borg cubes engage the planet killer. The Borg actually fire weapons powerful enough to actually hurt the machine, which reveals a secondary hull of rhodinium beneath the neutronium. There is also an inorganic coolant fluid running through its conduits. When damaged, this causes the planet killer to appear as if it's bleeding. This planet killer is finally destroyed when its pilot attempts to take it to warp 10, but traps herself in an infinite time loop where she'll always keep trying to reach Borg space, but never succeed. The novel's prologue featured a young Jean-Luc Picard as a cadet at Starfleet Academy. He notes Kirk's report on the encounter is short on details. During his history report, Picard states that he believes the planet killer did not come from outside of the galaxy, as the machines needed planets as fuel to work, which you wouldn't find in the void as there are no planets. There is still so much we don't know about the Preservers in the Star Trek universe. We previously touched on the origins of a Borg collective in another video here on the Trek Central YouTube channel. I personally could see the Preservers still being around when the Borg emerged in the galaxy. What do you think? Comment your thoughts below. The Doomsday Machines have also appeared in several other non-canon Star Trek productions. Some sources indicate that the planet-killer Doomsday Machine were built around 50,000 years before the Federation encountered them. A wave of these weapons would destroy the first Orion Empire. Others also claim the devices are billions of years old and come from outside of the galaxy. But people like Jean-Luc Picard did not hold this theory well. Star Trek Voyager, a planet killer, a comic by Wildstorm, included the Intrepid-class USS Voyager encountering another Doomsday Machine. This comic revealed the machine as a creation by a long-extinct species designated by the Borg as species 4672. Voyager initially attempts to destroy the machine by repeating Kirk's trick with the Constellation. The Voyager crew has no effect, but manage to use the Doctor's mobile emitter and coat it with neutronium. This shuts down the device as it can't distinguish between itself and Voyager. Using the Delta Flyer, the Doctor is transported on board the machine and ejects Borg nanoprobes to infect it with a virus. The short story, Devices and Desires, by Kevin Lorradale, tells us the fate of the original planet killer encountered by the USS Constellation and USS Enterprise. This story tells us the Doomsday Machine was taken to the Yard, a top-secret facility where alien technology acquired by Starfleet was stored and studied. There's another long story here, but I suggest you read that one for yourself as it's kind of exciting. Several Star Trek video games have included the planet killer as an enemy. For example, the PC game Star Trek Starfleet Command has the Terran Empire attempted to unleash a Doomsday Machine fleet on Earth. The player can shut these down by beaming prototype mines into the maws of the device, effectively destroying the Doomsday Machines. In the MMO video game, Star Trek Online, one of the villains known as Ambassador Bovat had a faction of Klingons that rediscovered a planet killer. These Klingons managed to modify and reactivate it for use as a weapon against the Federation. In the game, the player has to destroy the Klingon remote control systems and then destroy the planet killer with an experimental Klingon torpedo. The game features 2 more planet killers in the Agents of Yesterday expansion. One of them would go on to cause the Galdonic core to be inhospitable when it sucked up a Nicole's ship and crashed into the planet. Another is fought over between players and Klingons of the 23rd century. Norman Spinrad, the writer of the Doomsday Machine episode, was displeased with how the planet killer model came out. In the Star Trek interview book, he spoke to Alan Asherman about how he originally envisioned the planet killer bristling of all sorts of evil-looking weapons. Compared to the finished version, we can certainly see things ended up very differently. The Star Trek reference book, known as Concordance, refers to the planet killer as a berserker or planet eater. Another book, The Monsters of Star Trek, also uses the term berserker to describe the weapon. Greg Jean once sketched a berserker and titled it Doomsday Machine in a Concordance reference book. In Ships of the Line, the book states that the planet killer once had been a monster Norman Spinrad envisioned, and that it originally boasted an array of weaponry. However, centuries of combat had taken their toll, so by the time the USS Constellation encountered it, only the main weapon remained. Bryce Zabel and J. Michael Straczynski once proposed a new Star Trek TV series in 2004. Amongst other things, the Planet Eater would be in this. If you want to hear more about this proposed Star Trek series that never came to be, let us know and we'll do a video on it. So that's a brief summary of the Star Trek's Doomsday Machine. What do you think of this impressive planet killer weapon? If you want to keep up to date on the latest Star Trek news, lore and more, then make sure to hit that subscribe button to never miss a video from the team here at Trek Central. You can follow us on social media or join our community Discord server. For now, I've been Captain Jack, thanks for watching and we'll see you next time. Live long and prosper my friends, goodbye.